Greetings, my fellow hunters, and welcome to my first ever deep dive into the Monster Hunter universe's lore. Before we get started, I would just like to say a few things. Firstly, sorry for my viewers for not uploading in a very long time, especially since my last upload was talking about how I was coming back. But I kind of moved myself over to Twitch because of how badly YouTube has been treating its smaller creators, and most of my content at that point was Let's Plays. So Twitch is kind of more favorable for that kind of thing. And then even with that, my day job is in retail, and I just haven't had the time to stream with Black Friday and Christmas season, as well as we had inventory before that. So I actually haven't even been able to stream on Twitch since October. That's how bad it's been for me. The second thing I want to talk about is that I plan to make my YouTube channel here into a channel that focuses on news, theories, and speculations, and guides, potentially lore videos on games, using my current favorite franchise, Monster Hunter, as my starting point, because I am very passionate about this series right now. Hence the nature of this video. The reason why I'm making this change is because looking back at my actual YouTube channel's videos, the videos I did the best on were my videos of this nature regarding Splatoon 2. And I figure I should, if I'm really going to take this seriously, I should probably focus on what I've done good and go from there. The final thing I want to bring up here is I intend to start streaming again back on my Twitch channel on Friday. Since, for two reasons, Monster Hunter World will be having its Appreciation Festival, which lasts a month long, and on Friday afternoon when I get home from work, I don't work the weekends right now because of the way my job is, and so I pretty much, once I get home Friday, I have the half of Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday left to do whatever I want, so I figure, you know, I'm going to be consistent like this for a while. I can at least have some consistent streams for the next little bit until my schedule changes. So, enough of my random chatter. Let us get into the actual content of the video that you all clicked on here to see. So, I've been wanting to make a Monster Hunter video for a while now. I streamed my Monster Hunter World playthrough over on Twitch, and I have fallen in love with the franchise. Monster Hunter World was not my first Monster Hunter experience, but it was the one that made me fall in love with the series. My first experience was Monster Hunter Generations over on the 3DS, and yeah, the 3DS's control scheme does not work with my big hands. So, using Monster Hunter World, the passion it gave me when it got me hooked, and all that, I've decided to work with the hype building up around the announcement of Monster Hunter World's G-Rank/Ultimate expansion named Monster Hunter World Iceborne. There is plenty of room for speculation in this game until we learn more about it. So it's kind of something that I can insert myself into nicely, especially since even though I haven't played a whole lot of Generations Ultimate yet, I am playing that to experience the old school's Monster Hunter games. I have watched a lot of videos from content creators who have been with the Monster Hunter fandom for a while now, like Eric's Gaming, Rurikon, Rage, and a lot those kind of people. And Rage especially likes to dive into Monster Hunter lore, so I actually do know quite a bit about the lore of the series, but I'm getting off topic. Let me get back on the script. I should be doing that rather than going AWOL here. Now, even though Monster Hunter World Iceborne is ripe for speculation, most people have been speculating about, oh, we're going to be getting, these are the monsters I speculate are coming to Monster Hunter World, or these are the kind of environments I'm expecting, and those aren't what triggered my curiosity, because we can get hints from that from the name of the expansion itself, and they've teased certain things, and so we can get ideas for those things. But the question that stuck in my mind was, Not though that, but where is the island in the trailer located? Which is hence the topic of this video. Let us take a look at the in-game map for a moment. Looking at this map, the only island that appears large enough is tucked in the southeast corner here. The only other visible maps over in the west by northwest area here do not appear large enough to hold environments. Like, look how large the other zones are on the map, and you can see that those islands just do not hold the same size as what you'd expect this an environment to be. But the one in the southeast, it does look like it could be it. So, is that it? Have we already discovered which is the missing island? I would have to say no, for a few reasons. First, if you take a look at this island here, you'll notice that there's no artistic depictions of mountains. Whereas if you look at these ones over here, you will notice that they got little triangles. This shows that there are mountains. So the fact that there's no real artistic depictions of mountains makes me think that yes, there are a couple of points that you can kind of see on this island, but it looks mostly flat in comparison to the other islands, and the trailer does not show a flat island, as you can see here. Another thing to bring up is that this island, it is colored brown, and one thing I can say about Monster Hunter World is that its maps have done a very good job of coloring each of the zones that you can see here, the color that would represent the environment you can found in. And being a brown color, you would think, it being similar to the Wild Spiral Lace, in fact the exact same, it should have a similar environment. It isn't white like you would expect a snowy biome like the name of the expansion suggests to be at. Furthermore, the last point I would like to bring up is that in the trailer, when they're fighting Rathalos, they're fighting Rathalos in the middle of the ancient forest. Specifically, they're fighting him in poor Toby Kadachi's nest. And side note, you just gotta feel sorry for Toby, because with the exception of Pookie Pookie and Great Jagras, every other monster that goes into the ancient forest finds its way into Toby Kadachi's nest. Don't you feel sorry for him for that? I sure do. But back on topic. They were in the heart of the ancient forest, which would be approximately right beside where the ancient forest icon is, just to the right of that, probably. Or actually, no, it'd be even closer. You can actually see the ancient tree's artistic depiction. And so, it should be somewhere in that tree. But, so if he was going to fly to the island over here on the far right, Rathalos would literally have to cross over Astera and the Wild Spiral Waste, but he would never hit the ocean. So that one kind of seals the nail in the coffin. So we can honestly say that no, the island in the southeast is not the island in question. Now, from here on, I'm going to have to go off my script a little bit, because I had wrote a very, very detailed script, pretty much an essay. And this hasn't changed my opinion so much, but I just realized that I should probably bring up an order of things and a few points that makes me change my order in which I want to talk about it. So, I want to talk about the next directions. Well, first I should say what directions we have narrowed down. We still have, since we can't have the directly south of Astera part of the ocean, because that would mean that we would see Astera quite clearly when Rathalos is flying away from the ancient tree. We only really have 3 cardinal directions left. The southwest corner of the map, the western corner of the map, and the northwestern corner of the map. So we have those 3 directions left. And I'm going to eliminate the southwestern direction first. And the reason why I can eliminate the southwestern direction with some definitive proof has to do with the fact that when you first arrive in the new world, you see that you land in Area 1 in the camp in Area 1, the southwest corner of the camp. You land there, touch down, you and the handler. Alright, so you and the handler landed to the southwest. Okay, so that's one reference point, but that's not enough detail to definitively say that you came from the southwest. And you're probably wondering where I'm going with all this, and it'll all loop back. So let's add a few more details. First, Astera happens to be where the first fleet happened to touch ground in the New World. That's why a lot of the buildings that make up Astera are ships. And so Astera can be our second point. The third point I want to bring up is where Zora Magdaros himself made landfall. And I'm going to have to say, looking at the evidence, that was slightly north of where you and the hunter, or you and the handler, touched down. As evidence of the fact that the hunters from Astera lost him if he was in between the most southwestern corner of the ancient forest and Astera. I don't think the hunters would lose something that large. Whereas another piece of evidence to support this is that areas 1, 3, and 4, aka the southern coast, show no signs of his landfall at all. You don't see any sign of Zora Magdaros until you go further north into the forest, into Puki's territory. So, why was I talking about these 3 points? Well, if you take the general direction at Astera, the southwestern corner of Area 1, and an area just slightly north, let's say about where the ancient forest symbol is, where the river is, let's say that's about where Zora Magdaros hit the New World. If you take those 3 points of the map, then you think of, okay, the Elder Crossing is Elder Dragons heading straight to the New World from the Old World. So that means that since they're heading straight there, they're moving in a straight line. And so if you look at the fact that the fleets followed the Elder Dragons to find the New World, that would mean that in relative position to the Old World, the New World is northeast of it. Or in other words, the Old World is southwest of the New World. It's would make logical sense. So, considering that, and the fact that you had the first fleet, you had all 5 fleets, plus you have the captain and Argosy making trips to the Old World back and forth, you would think that they would have seen this island and decided to explore it by now. So, I don't think that an unexplored island would be in the path between the New World and the Old World. It just doesn't make sense. They would have explored it on their way to the New World. Even if the first fleet didn't, you would think that the 2nd through 5th fleets, or the captain and the Argosy, would have stopped by on the island just to check it out at least once, right? So that's why we can eliminate the southwest corner. So we've narrowed it down to 2 directions, west and northwest. Now, I won't leave you guys in much suspense any longer. I believe that the location of the island is to the west. And here's why I'm going to eliminate the northwest. As I talked about earlier, Rathalos and the hunters in the trailer were fighting in Tobi-Kanachi's nest at the heart of the Great Tree, which is right beside Astera, kind of where the red circle on my image is here. If they were heading to the islands way over here, or past them to the northwest, they would pretty much have to cover the entire southern portion of the ancient forest. And the ancient forest area that we explore is only the areas in and around the ancient tree. We haven't actually really explored anything north of that river. And that was just kind of an epiphany I had just now making this video. So look at how much ground they have to cover to get to the northwestern shore. Rathalos is named the King of the Sky. And the hunters in the trailer followed Rathalos to the coast on foot. There's no way that the King of the Sky, flying, would reach the coast to the northwest with the hunter still following him, especially when more than half of that is unexplored territory. So we can eliminate the northwest, which pretty much eliminates those islands there as well. And going back to what I said on the topic of this island over here, when I brought up the islands to the northwest, I said that they weren't small, they were too small. So we can eliminate the northwest, and that's kind of definitive enough proof. But here's some more evidence to support the whole idea of it being to the west. If you take a look at the trailer one more time, and we stop at this frame here, we see the familiar sights of the New World, and we can see a few distinctive landmarks. Firstly, we see the ancient tree, which is right by Stera, but to the left of the ancient tree, behind Rathalos, is the... Oh, how do you pronounce this? I always get this wrong. The Confluence of Fates, i.e., the giant crystal that overlooks the Elder's Recess that Zeno was born from. And it's, like I said before, to the left of the ancient tree. You'd only get those two landmarks and those positions relative to Rathalos flying away from the New World if he was flying away to the west. Then you would have the ancient tree on the right side of the camera with the Confluence of Fates and the entire mountain range that it surrounds it to the left of the ancient tree. So that's why I can definitively say that the island that the expansion is taking place on is further to the west of what we've seen. Now, that being said, it could be possible that it is this island right here. It's fairly big. It's about as big as this one over here. And it is to the west, but I think even that one's stretching it, because that would still mean that Rathalos, when he hit the coast, would still be going to the northwest. I don't know why I was still holding on to that. Yeah, he would still be going to the northwest over there, and like I covered before, that's a little bit too much ground to cover. And since he was kind of at the heart of the ancient tree, I would say that he most likely hit the coast kind of about right there, that little island there. Yeah, he would have hit the coast about there if he was flying to the west. And following the red circle, that would mean that if he was heading straight there, he would pass the tip of that island. So my guess is that the new island is somewhere in this little area here where my circle is now, or further to the west of that. And that is, in my opinion, what makes the most logical sense. So there we have it, folks. My speculation on where the island is located. Just remember, this is just one man's rationalization based on all the evidence we have available to us. I could be wrong, but I think I presented a pretty airtight argument here. Feel free to talk about it in the comments down below. Leave some feedback as well, especially since this is my first time editing a video like this. Those red circles and all that was things that was popping up in OBS as I went along. I was experimenting. I will admit it's a little choppy, and I would like to do better with it, but it's my first video back in a while, and I literally just came home from work right before I started recording this, so I didn't really have much time to set this up, and I don't have much time to take longer than this if I want to get that video out when I want it to go out. But yeah, I'll leave some feedback. You guys know the drill. Like the video if you dislike. Like the video if you like the video. Dislike the video if you dislike it. Don't do it the other way around. I was about to say that. Please don't do that. Any feedback you guys leave, even negative feedback, can be constructive. I'm a very tough cookie. I can handle it. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. And, as always, or I should say, from now on, let the Sapphire Star guide your way. Later, hunters.